as you just said, thousands of people are going to be here, so it won't be quiet, that's for sure, in your trip. So come over here with me. I have some things in the back of our news car. The Idaho couple was recently found living at this Hawaiian resort, but they're still evading questions about Lori's missing children. Now, this story has captured a national interest, but it really hits home for people here in Idaho. This is what's left from a vigil that happened last night. Now, that car later drove up Vista Avenue here and tore through the grass and crashed into a light pole. Take a look behind me. This is where a truck crashed through a wall at a local elementary school. We will keep you updated here on CBS 2 News. I'm actually going to do a Facebook Live on our Facebook page, CBS 2 Boise. If I did decide to start driving, this needs to go away. What do police want to do with it? Well, they want to put a statue here to represent the community here in Nampa. Now, here at the Joint Finance Appropriations Committee behind me, lawmakers listen to budget needs. Senator Lakey introduced 2 bills to the State Senate Affairs Committee. Not just a big day for the Democrats, but it's also a big day for the Republicans and the Constitution Party members, because they are choosing who they want to represent their party in the next presidential election. But officials tell us it was a busy day yesterday. A lot of people definitely felt the earthquake here in the Treasure Valley, but some are actually seeing some minor damage, like the St. John's Cathedral here behind me in downtown Boise. I'm actually going to zoom in on a cross at the top of this cathedral here. You can see that it has some cracks in it, but it still remains standing. The coronavirus prevent this virus on the virus here. And while there have been no confirmed cases here in Idaho, they're still taking precautions. 5 confirmed cases of COVID-19 in Idaho. They have hand sanitizer and tissues on hand. Stay home if you're feeling sick. The governor says this order means people need to stay at home at all times, and it's always a good idea to use disinfectant. And the CDC says that's why it's also important to wash your hands for at least 20 seconds after being out in public or coughing and sneezing. Winco now shuts down from midnight to 5 in the morning to clean and restock. Right here in my hand is an application called Blackboard. This is where students can virtually attend classes that the Idaho State Board of Education voted to extend the soft closure for schools here in Idaho.
They aren't happy with the extension of Idaho's stay-at-home order.
Idaho hasn't been hit as hard as other states.
All healthcare systems are experiencing the impacts of limited PPE.
But to make sure that our healthcare providers and our first responders are safe, we have to have personal protective equipment.
If we do go out in public, we need to wear one of these. This is a face mask, and it's homemade. People have been stuck on hold, waiting for calls back, even hearing this when they go to call the Idaho Department of Labor. Restaurants like Red Feather, Bitter Creek, Diablo Sons, and then even Fork and Alavita over here are all coming together to help support the community. And Lauren McLean says that this wasn't in her first 100-day plan as Boise's mayor.
Ultimately, it's the virus that decides the timing of the steps that the city can take.
Until we have a vaccine, until we have immunity, until we have good treatments.
But this year, it's gonna look a lot more quiet. Last night, they actually celebrated a drive-through graduation. You can see some of the signs are still up on the fence. Things will look a little different in order to open up, in order to reopen. With restaurant dining rooms reopening is just one of those churches that reopened this weekend. But not all bar owners are on board. We spoke with the bar master here at Press and Pony over FaceTime, and he says that they might just have to wait a little bit. Take a look here.
Well, our timeline is still planning on going to open more in June.
It's because kids will be going back to school through a hybrid version, meaning they'll be in class in person and online. So we actually spoke with the director of the fair here over FaceTime, and he tells us that they're still working so that they can operate in August.
This event is the highlight of so many people's lives.
Moving forward, state and health leaders will be looking at data and determine if we will move out of stage 4 of recovering from the coronavirus pandemic. Now, Brian, a lot has happened in the past 12 hours here. This whole lawn here was filled with people. Now maintenance workers are actually just cleaning up some candle wax here on the steps, and I'm gonna have you come over here with me. This is some graffiti that we found this morning. It's the acronym ACAB, which is a derogatory term used against police officers. And so this all happened after a vigil, and then a protest broke out after that vigil, and those protests and the vigil are not connected here. This is a tweet by the Black Lives Matter chapter announcing a protest tonight in Boise, and a large crowd is expected. Today, lawmakers will meet back here at the State House starting at 8:30, and there are two kinds of bills that we're watching. One related to the November election, another relating to civil liability.
Controversy at the Idaho State Capitol.
I'll do this until the point is made.
CBS 2 News provided balanced coverage of the protests on air and online. Turn to CBS 2 for continuing reports on the conflict and the consequences.
The world tuned in to this debate. Many people here in the Valley are waking up this morning still reflecting back on what they saw last night. Ballots are being dropped off all around places in the Treasure Valley. Right now, Ada County Elections Office right here behind me is busy preparing for election day tomorrow. Already, they've seen record amount of turnout. Starting Monday, if you aren't following health protocol, you may have to face some consequences. And they say they have evidence that protesters showed up to at least 3 homes of the commissioners. Right now, barricades are set up outside of Central District Health offices. Boise police tell us that they are expecting another crowd today. Right here in my hand is a policy briefing that states Idahoans are still suffering from income loss due to the pandemic. Right now, I'm enjoying the weather here. It's only 61 degrees and the sun has just came up. We're seeing smoky conditions, especially in Sun Valley where it's 86 degrees. 85 in Stanley, and Christmas will be 91 days. And then looking ahead to today, if I can get my clicker to work, it's not working. Oh, there we go. Right now, 53 degrees here in Boise.
Kristen, yeah, you come in and you always make it look really easy.
Oh, thank you.
What's the secret?
I try really hard. I have like a big Yeti coffee cup that I just fill up, and I drink it all.
You sounded off guard by Denny's compliment. Well, she's not going to compliment me, so it has to go to someone else.
I'm actually more surprised that we got the 3 boxes working.
I don't think they make. Do you remember the L'Oreal kid shampoo?
Oh,
where they said tears free and.
But Denver, a high of 36 degrees. Okay, Colorado. Yep, that's cold. I just saw it was snowing there. But look at Cheyenne, a high of 31 degrees right now. And a lot of that wind will be in the Mountain Home area. And you just walk up to them in the freezing temperatures and you just like wrap your arms around them. In Boise, Krista McPeak, CBS 2 News. In Boise, Krista McPeak, CBS 2 News. Live in Boise, Krista McPeak, CBS 2 News. Live in Boise, Krista McPeak, CBS 2 News.